on YouTube. So, good morning, good evening as well. My name is Aurélien Orange, and today I will be hosting this match, not with my colleague, this time alone, because my colleague is busy, but I will be hosting this match between two teams who are competing in order to go to the eighth of finals of the Inter-University Law Debate Tournament 2023, 6th edition. These two universities today are the University of the South Pacific in Vanuatu, so there this is the evening, and the University of Lusaka in Zambia, where it is the morning, like in the Netherlands at this moment, where I am. The students, they received the topic more than 7 days before, but we had to reschedule the match, but the topic is connected to actually the international, public international law, and they have prepared it. They don't know yet the position, they don't know if they will be in favor of the motion or against the motion, but of course, before talking about the topic itself, let's give the floor to the protagonist of this match, so each student participating to this debate. So first of all, Miss Harriet Sionetama in Vanuatu.
Good afternoon, everyone from Vanuatu. My name is Harriet Santama. I am a final year law student here at MLS campus at the University of the South Pacific. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome. In Lusaka, we have Mr. Sidney Miti.
Okay, good morning, everyone in Zambia, and good evening, everyone in South Pacific, as far as wherever you're watching us from. My full name is Sidney Miti, a final law student at the University of Lusaka, and it's good to be here and looking forward to this match. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have in Vanuatu as well Miss Natasha Amani. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natasha Amani. I am a third year law student here studying at the University of the South Pacific.
Welcome, thank you. And we have in Lusaka as well Igor Kapambwe. Sorry.
My name is Iga Kapambwe, and I am a third year law student here at the University of Lusaka, and I'm excited for this match.
Thank you, welcome. And we have as well a third member for the University of the South Pacific, Miss Brigitte Laboucli.
Hello everyone, my name is Brigitte Laboucli, and I'm a final year law student at the University of the South Pacific.
Welcome. And a third member as well on the side of the University of Lusaka, Tanyaradzwa Maponga.
Morning everyone, my name is Tanyaradzwa Maponga and I'm a first year law student at the University of Lusaka. Thank you.
Welcome. So I need to mention as well that both teams were coached. There are two coaches for each team. On the side of the University of the South Pacific, Professor Sophia Shah and Professor Morsen Moses are the coach, and as well on the side of the University of Lusaka, Miss and Professor Teresa Lumbama Caputo and as well Mwaka Shizinga were the coach for this team in general for the whole competition. So three judges will be watching this match. One is in Hong Kong, one is in Pakistan, and one is in Canada. And the topic now, so the topic which was sent by email more than 7 days ago to both teams is an open legal aid resource, including legal representation, should be established to help victims of crimes, particularly those of cybercrime. So now I will share my screen for the location of the positions, meaning the teams will know at that time. Now it means in a few seconds which positions they will have. So first I share my screen so they can see it as well. And now, like on YouTube, everybody should see my screen where you can see the wheel with the name of the two universities, and they could be either in favor or either against the motion. So I click in the center, and we know now which position the teams will have. So this is University of Lusaka will have the position against, and as a consequence this is the University of the South Pacific will be in favor of the motion. It means concretely that the University of the South Pacific will be starting the debate and defend the position that an open legal aid resource, including legal representation, should be established to help victims of crime, particularly those of cybercrimes. And on the other side, as University of Lusaka, we defend the position that an open global legal aid resource, including legal representation, should not be established to help victims of crimes, particularly those of cybercrimes. So now, I will continue to share my screen, not my colleagues this time, but you can close your camera and microphone because you will have 5 minutes to review your notes based on your position. So in 5 minutes, we'll start with the position in favor, meaning the University of the South Pacific. Voilà. So we are done with the 15 minutes. I will stop sharing my screen and we start the match. So, yes, indeed. So we'll start with the introduction by the University of the South Pacific, but before you start, 30 seconds, when you still have 30 seconds, and when it is the end of your speaking time. So, yes, I give the floor now to the University of the South Pacific for the introduction. You have 4 minutes.
Esteemed colleagues and panel, my team affirms that an open global legal aid resource, including legal representation, should be established to help victims of crime, particularly those of cybercrime. Access to justice enables people to make better use of the legal service and the protection of their rights. It has been recognized in the UN ODC as well as other international, regional, and national instruments that access to justice is essential to achieve. It's essential that people in society can enjoy and exercise their rights, and this is achieved by promoting the rule of law and ensuring access to justice. Without dismissing victims of other offenses, ensuring access to justice for victims of cybercrime is particularly important due to the complexity of the offenses and the dimensions in which they take place. Therefore, in affirmation of the prompt, our arguments are as follows. Firstly, it is important that we emphasize the importance of ensuring access to justice. As mentioned, access to justice is a right, but not all people enjoy this. The World Justice Project provides that 5 million people worldwide lack access to justice, and over 1 billion people cannot obtain justice for everyday problems. In the arena of criminal justice reform, barriers that hinder the ensurance of access is to justice include financial, geographic, and cultural obstacles. One key element to ensuring access to justice is legal aid and legal assistance. Legal aid in itself is a fundamental right. However, many people around the globe face challenges that impedes their right and in return hinders their right to access justice. Inevitably, many of these victims lack access to justice and cannot obtain justice, includes victims of cybercrime. I say this because in an era of technology, it is evident that cyber-related incidents are a prominent threat. This brings us to our second argument, the complexity of cyber-related offenses and the need for global aid. An international telecommunication union database provides that 60% of the global demographic use internet on a daily. Without statistics, even this virtual debate is evidence of how much technology and the internet has advanced over the years and how it is utilized. The wide usage of technology has allowed for a range of new opportunities for crime to take place through electronic means on a global scale, irrespective of national and transnational borders. Perpetrators and victims can be located in different jurisdictions. This poses a significant and growing threat to national and international security. Hence, the need for global agencies that can provide legal assistance to promote global security. Finally, our argument can conclude the need for global cooperation. International cybercrimes often challenge the effectiveness of domestic and international laws and law enforcement because existing laws in many countries are not tailored to deal with cybercrime or otherwise lack laws to deal with these crimes. Furthermore, the complexity in the types and forms of cybercrime increases the difficulty to fight back. In this sense, cybercrime calls for a global legal aid resource through international cooperation that have the capacity and capability to contribute to a multi-agency transnational investigation. In support of this is the case of Evans and Wangfutang Bank Limited in Vanuatu in 2020. This case involved money laundering that took over 20 years to be solved, involved 3 countries, and provides a clear demonstration that developing countries lack capacity to deal with serious, difficult cybercrimes outside of their jurisdiction. Henceforth, my team stands in affirmation that an open global legal aid resource should be established to help victims of crime, particularly those of cybercrime. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we give the floor to the University of Lusaka for the introduction. You have 4 minutes as well.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So, legal aid resource is very important. And the biggest question that can be posed is to what extent can we define legal aid? Legal aid goes beyond just legal representation. It goes as far as being able to provide legal education on matters such as cybercrime in our case, where we're discussing the scourge of cybercrime. And so when we say cybercrime or legal aid resource has to be provided in certain countries, it means that there has to be some form of legal education on matters such as cybercrimes in specific countries. Now, our team, as the University of Lusaka, do oppose to the statement that a legal aid resource has to be, a global legal aid resource has to be opened on a global level. And to this effect, we have the following arguments in our on our side. Firstly, um, quite all right, the scourge of cybercrime has to be met, and most of these countries have got systems that have been put in place to fight the scourge of cybercrime. So we strongly do oppose to the statement that global aid resource has to be established, mainly because there is already systems that are existing in these particular countries. And what is only obtaining on the ground is that there's a limitation in which these countries can go. To that effect, we are also looking forward to being able to provide solutions that might be very much helpful for specific countries that have these systems available. Even though it might look cheap, there are very heavy implications on starting a global aid resource that would be able to meet the needs of these specific countries that would be a part of these systems that would be put in place. And furthermore, legal aid resources in rural areas have been put in place, they have been hardly put in place, and it is our view that if a global aid resource was to be put at a global level, there would also be a limitation in how much they would be able to help victims of cybercrime in these rural areas. These cannot be termed as exceptions, in terms of victims that are facing cyber bullying, cyber, you know, forms of crime. So it is our view that the global aid resource would still be limited in its provision of legal aid resources. And also, we are already seeing civil society actors coming on board and fighting against the scourge of cybercrime. In specific countries, it is visible. And that is why we are also opposing to this motion, which is stipulating that global aid resources must be established on a global level, because we are of the view that these civil society and actors that are on the current um, fight against cybercrime can be empowered to a level where they're able to visit specific areas that cannot be met by the global aid resource. There are many barriers that might come in place, such as cultural barriers, language barriers, in terms of providing these services, and that is why we strongly oppose that. To make sure that these services are effectively provided, there is need for only being able to offer financial, technological, and cultural aid to these countries that might be in their need of legal aid resource.
Thank you very much. So now we move to the rebuttals. So for the first rebuttal, we give the floor to the University of the South Pacific. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much for your arguments and statements that you've placed forward. We would like to argue that in the domestic jurisdictions, systems that are in place have issues. For example, in a UN report, it has been stated that domestic jurisdictions have issues of corruption, issues of delay in court processes, and also the UN country report have reported that there's insignificant amount of money that countries have placed to help legal aid resources in their country. Nepal has recorded $0.01 invested into legal aid. In the Netherlands, it's only $34.4 per capita, and I would um, state that this is highly insignificant. We would also like to put forward a new point in stating that there are insufficient actors and lawyers and resources within states. One of the main barriers in accessing legal aid services is the lack of diversity among lawyers and legal professions, especially in developing countries. Many people will feel more comfortable seeking legal aid from someone who is well versed, well experienced in the area that they seek assistance with. However, the reality is the legal profession remains largely inconsistent and lacking. The World Bank conducted a survey in 2018, and about 40% of the population worldwide have difficulty in finding a lawyer. In fact, the International Bar Association provided that only about 170,000 lawyers serve an approximate over 1 billion people in Africa, and we should apply that ratio on a global scale. This is particularly important to mention as a series of cybercrimes are both transnational and international. A global legal aid resource will not only ensure the availability of vast number of resources, but also the effectiveness of such resources. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. So now, as well for the first rebuttal, I would like to give the floor to the University of Lusaka. You have 2 minutes.
So am I audible enough? Am I very clear enough?
Yes, you are clear and audible. Yeah.
Now we understand and respect that the international community is very important when it comes to collectively achieving goals and issues that really affect the international community at large. And we do accept that financial resources sometimes curtail or rather inhibit the provision of legal aid resources. As such, it is very important to understand that because of these financial resources, uh, an open global legal aid resource is going to be sponsored by donor funds, and there's going to be a limitation to that because it's not everyone who's going to spend so much money to be putting in a pool of resource which does not definitely or basically have a huge impact on them themselves. So on the fact of financial resources, we are saying that there's a limitation on donor funds, yeah, because this open global legal resource is controlled by it. Apart from that, we're talking about the impracticality that comes with the open global legal resource. We've got these bureaucratic issues that are surrounding this open global resource. So it is impractical for this global open legal resource to work when we've already established the fact that the systems within these member states are not working. What is definitely needed is not for us to take it on a global level, because then we will show, or it will be noted that even on a global scale, we might fail because there's already an impractical approach to this, or rather, there's already limitations that are affecting these states. Hence, we should channel the efforts towards improving their capacity. We should channel the resources towards ensuring that we assist them with technical assistance, not per se on a global scale, but directly and giving them that benefit to ensure that they maximize the effort. On top of that, there's that issue of costs. Running an open global aid resource deals, or rather brings in so many human resources. There's need for so much human resource. There's need for so many there's needs for so many finances to cater for that. So it will be too costly. It will be too costly to take it to a global level, because then already on the domestic level they're fading and there's issues of resources. But when you take it to a global level, there'll be more issues of costs. There'll be more issues of need to have finances, and that is going to be even more problematic for us to effectively provide these legal resources. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to give the floor to the University of the South Pacific for second rebuttal. You have 2 minutes.
Am I visible and audible?
Yes, both. Yeah.
So the opposing team has mentioned that funding is insufficient, but I must argue that funds are important to ensure global cooperation. The UN Development Program shows up to 80% of the legal needs of poor and marginalized population worldwide go unmet. This is a denial of their fundamental rights. Global cooperation aims to produce a harmonized systems of laws by all states and to realize the dimensions in which cybercrimes take place, to work out a solid and effective system. Pervasive criminal activity in cyberspace not only directly affect its victims, but can imperil citizens and businesses' faith in these digital systems, which are critical to our society and to our economy. Now, cybercrimes are not confined by national or geographic boundaries. They exist within cyberspace, which is a boundaryless arena, and evidence relating to a single crime can dispersed across multiple regions. Now, it can be agreed that while there is an importance for states to have cybercrime laws in place, it is equally necessary that there is a global resource that can assist foreign countries in dispute resolutions concerning cyber related offenses. Henceforth, we would like to re-emphasize that the idea behind creating global open legal aid resource contributes to the aim of global cooperation and the harmonization of countries' criminal laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now for the second rebuttal, as well, the University of Lusaka, you have 2 minutes.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes?
All right. Now, we believe that within this debate, the main problem that has come about is where we are contrasting the practicality and the theory aspect of what is being argued today. As the opposition delegation, at no point have we denied that legal aid is a resource that is necessary because it is a fundamental human right. Everyone has the right to representation, everyone has the right to have justice. But what we believe becomes a problem when we then introduce it at a global level is already within smaller states we're experiencing problems. Now, how do these problems fit in? When the first speaker came up from the University of the South Pacific, they highlighted that already within smaller states or within smaller jurisdictions, we have shortages of lawyers. We are failing to provide funding for our legal aid resources, and this is introducing a problem. And we believe that these very same problems can be translated when we go into this at an international level. How does this translate? First of all, we need to realize that this global aid resource has to be fed in by member states. Now, how are they feeding in? They'll be contributing financially, they'll be contributing the manpower that is needed, which are these legal personnel who are providing advice, who are providing the representation that is required. And we believe that if already there are shortages within the state, they do not have enough to spare to contribute to a global legal aid resource. Secondly, another problem that comes in is where not every state is going to be a member. We give you an example of a country such as Russia, which has very lax laws when it comes to cybercrime, where the ultimate law says that you have not committed any cybercrime as long as it is not against Russia. So if you hack someone, it's ethical hacking as long as you haven't hacked a Russian. Such countries who already have lax laws will not be willing to enter into treaties or into discussions to form a resource that is going to be hindering or impeding the activities that are already happening within their countries. And therefore, we believe that on that state, it is something that is very impractical. We also question the implementation that comes in, and we hope that within our next speech, we'll be able to highlight to you why implementation becomes very difficult when we have failed it at regional levels and now we want to introduce it at international levels. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we move to the conclusions. We start first with a conclusion given by the University of the South Pacific. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. So the opposing team mentioned that an open global legal aid is impractical. But we will pose this by saying it is practical. Henceforth, we have argued that global cooperation is important to ensure the practicality um, of global aid resources. So therefore, we would like to say in conclusion, in today's world, barriers to accessing legal aid resources remain critical issues for many people around the globe. In many countries, legal aid is inadequate or non existent, particularly for marginalized and vulnerable groups. In fact, the World Justice Project report shows that 90% of the population living in low income countries lack access to basic legal services. Transnational organized crimes, including that of cybercrime, has dire implications for public safety, democratic institutions, and economic stability across the globe. Not only are criminal networks growing, they are also diversifying their activities through technology. Thus, we re emphasize that bringing justice to victims of crime, particularly those of cybercrime, involves and must have in place global cooperation to ensure a holistic use of legal services in protecting their rights. Therefore, we affirm that an open global legal aid resource is more effective, more practical to victims of crime who are underrepresented in their own countries as well as victims of cybercrime. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I give the floor as well for the conclusion to the team of the University of Lusaka. You have 2 minutes.
Morning once again. Now, we believe that within today's debate, it was very important for us to realize where both sides were coming from. And we believe in our conclusion that the main clash that came in today was on the question of practicality. Now, what we got from the side proposition was that this can only work, an emphasis on it can only work if there is cooperation globally. And we came in and showed you how this is impractical because already there is lack of cooperation in different treaties that are already existing. And the only way that we can make this work is if all countries are willing to contribute, if all countries are willing to adhere to what is being provided for, which is something that we believe is difficult to attain. Now, what did we end up telling you? We also argued on an issue of cost, and we tell you that it will be very difficult, or rather, it will be too expensive for us to facilitate funds, whether it be financially or for us to give manpower, because already on smaller scales we are failing. And therefore, we believe that it is better that we introduce it is better that we put more efforts into trying to improve what is happening at a regional level. We try to educate countries on how to fix their budgets because what is failing is the budgetary aspect. And we also argued on implementation. We tell you that it is very difficult to implement a legal aid resource because governing authorities will be different. Well, yes, we will have this resource that is available to everyone. These cases don't just include cybercrime, but it's also crime in general. And how crime is dealt with within different jurisdictions is very different. So a question arises as to where these cases will be taken to when you look for help from this international global legal aid resource. Who is trying the case? What laws, what authorities are being used? And we believe that this creates a gray area, or this creates many loopholes for crimes to even be perpetuated, and it does not then deter the crime that is happening. And we believe that in today's debate, the opposition takes it because we're able to show you that practically we should be investing in what is already existing. For example, the Rital Kohli case, which happened in India, which was focusing on this cybercrime. We believe that if it had been dealt with within the jurisdiction, it would have helped. And it is with this that we've never been more proud to oppose.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we are done with the two conclusions. So conclusions from both teams for this match. From now, you are not anymore under evaluation by the judge. So you can open your camera and of course be together for this end of the match when we'll ask a few questions to each of you on of course your impression, on your performance, and as well performance of the other team, how you prepared. So and as well some information about the rest of the competition as well. So you can open your camera in Lusaka and in South Pacific as well. So, we'll start, of course, asking you what you thought about the match. So, Miss Harriet Tama, what did you think about the match? How did you prepare?
Hello again, everyone. Thank you for the well-versed debate. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I thoroughly enjoyed your rebuttal arguments. I really enjoyed them. And for that, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On the side of Lusaka, Mr. Sidney Mitty.
Thank you very much. This has been a very interesting match. I feel like both sides sort of like understood what they were trying to get at or what they were trying to drive at. And I feel on the other side, the guys were quite elaborative, uh, equally on our side. And I feel like this has been a very interesting match. And it's quite interesting to actually open our minds. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In Vanuatu, Miss Amani.
Hello again, everyone. I thought this was a really great match. I just want to extend our apologies for the postponement due to the little natural disaster that happened, but thank you so much for being patient. Um, this debate, this match was very, very insightful, and we just want to say thank you for your very substantial arguments and your perception. It has really been mind-opening for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the side of Lusaka, Igor Kapambwe.
Hello everyone. Being a part of this match has been very much exciting. I have to admit that in as much as we did our research work and we enjoyed the process of researching and getting whatever we have been able to present today, it is visible that on the other side, the other team of the South Pacific, you also did as much as you could to be able to research. And on the issue of the natural disaster, we really didn't mind waiting. We were looking forward to having a match with you because we watched your previous matches, so we were really looking forward to having this particular one. So we patiently waited, and we are very much glad that you are okay and you made it into today's match.
Thank you very much. Miss Laboucli.
Thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this debate. I thought you were an admiring opponent for this debate team. I would like to make a special mention to the colleague sister in Lukasa. I think you were very dynamic and your energy came across in the debate. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And Tanya Radzwa Mapanga.
Thank you. I think this was a very interesting debate, especially considering that our opponents, including ourselves, are all law students. I feel like it's really important, especially for us being the future drivers of lawmaking tomorrow, law implementation, to be thinking about strategies as to how to deal with problems that are rising. Because cybercrime is something that is fairly new, and I feel like it's a territory that most people haven't really tapped into. So I think it was really interesting to look at ways that we can address this both at regional levels and at international levels. So this was it was not just an insightful debate, but it was very useful considering the profession that we're all in.
Thank you very much. Of course, I want to thank again the four coaches. I mean, Professor Shah, Professor Moz, Professor Lumbama Caputo, and Professor Shizinga. We will, of course, send you the results in a few days from now. This was actually the last match of the day 2. There will be some other match, of course, coming in the next weeks for the day 3. Yes, you will receive the topic, and you will be preparing, of course, for the last match of this group phase. Again, in this group, there are 2 other universities, the University of Lagos, that Lusaka will be meeting for the third match, and as well the French University in Armenia, that the University of the South Pacific will have a match with. So those universities already had a match with the other team. And yes, so we are looking forward, of course, to welcome you and to hear about the result soon, and as well the general result for this competition for the group phase. One thing I want to add finally is that in April, we'll have a general, let's say, networking moment with all the teams together. It will not be possibly in WebEx, but in another platform where you will be able to see everybody and will be able to discuss with everybody in small groups or alone. And yes, so it means from all regions of the world, all those participate to the competition. And after that, obviously, we'll know as well the result. It means concerning the 8th of finals, it means which team go to the 8th of finals, so that will be right after that moment. So that will be in April. We think about mid-April, early April. So of course you will receive information obviously about it, and then yeah, you'll be able to tell if you are available or not. But in any case, we'll be very happy to see you connecting with many other teams like you debating during the competition. So many thanks in Zambia, many thanks as well in Vanuatu. We keep in touch, of course, and yes, you will see the results very soon about this match. All good? Yes. Okay. Have a good evening and a good morning over there. Bye-bye.